he knew she was right across the street. He just wanted
Yeah.
to stop and take care of her first. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I said, he wasn't expecting Bob and Linda, but he knew she.
Because I am agoraphobe, and you are not.
That's something people never touch on. How creepy that would be. Can you imagine all of a sudden just looking and just being able to see a face in the corner?
Just the idea. Oh yeah, just the idea of that. Just thinking that you're alone, or with just with your lover or something like that. But then there's somebody in that room standing there the whole time, and you don't know it. Like that's kind of like I forgot what video it was or movie I was talking about, but like when you see in a few movies, like someone recording you while you're sleeping. That's one of the scariest thoughts imaginable, because when you're sleeping, you're unaware, you're defenseless. This is like you don't know what's happening around you. So like that idea of seeing like somebody like in the room with you while you're sleeping and you didn't know it, and you see like a video recording of it, that's fucking scary. And that's
Like
the same type of thing. Like just yeah.
Have you ever seen Creep?
Yeah, that actually Creep. Yeah, that actually it's my favorite found footage movie. That might have been the video I was talking about that in, because he does that. He goes and he videotapes them and stuff. But that's terrifying.
He calls his wolf head. What does he call his wolf head? He sings.
Oh yeah, yeah. Peach Fuzz.
Peach Fuzz.
Yeah, Peach Fuzz. That's my favorite found footage movie. That movie is fantastic because Mark Duplass is
too crazy maniac.
His performance is phenomenal in that. Mark Duplass is good excellent. Too, yeah, it is.
It's not as good as the first, but the second one's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a third one. They've been wanting to do one for years, but they need they want like a really good script before they pull the trigger on it. Which that's fine. Like wait till they get something good.
Like they was going to make the third laid to rest, but they like the director and creator, goddamn Robert something, I don't remember, but
passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, while they were trying to fund it, he was getting the funding, and he died. He got sick and died.
Yeah, sucks.
It's a bummer, man.
Because those are great movies too. The laid to rest films.
That changed my, back to the in the bedroom thing. That changed my years. You know how many times I was making out shit and doing shit in the room would be dark, and I'd look over the corners, especially because of that.
Yeah, I can see it, man.
I don't know if you did the same thing, or at least had it in the back of your mind.
Oh, this movie always threw in just that you could be watched at any point, by some crazy person. Like definitely sticks in your mind after watching. This for the first time. Is that like who could be out there watching me right now? Why? And and it plays off all of that just so well. Like it just that's like true horror to me. is these movies like this, and we mentioned Texas Chainsaw and just and Psycho and like things that actually could happen. You know, like the monsters are all fun and good and stuff like that, and ghosts and witches and shit. But when it's an actual, you know, a human being or looks like a human being, in his case, but he's pure evil. But when people can do these things and kill people and fucking like, it's terrifying to me more so than anything else in horror.
I think each one of these movies, all the really good ones, do that. Like Black Christmas.
Yeah.
It makes you afraid. Like back in the day, I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, you could get, like when they had landlines, you could get different lines. You could get separate lines.
Oh
in your
yeah,
house.
yeah.
So someone could be.
I used to have one in my room as a kid, like as a teenager. So I'd have my own phone line. Yep.
Back before caller ID and shit. So someone could be in your house coming from that line, you know, and there was not two, but there was three. There was an extra line up in the fucking thing there.
Yeah, the attic.
That they discussed later on, or in the story, or I do believe maybe in the script, but they didn't use it. They decided to have him use the one from the house mother.
Yeah.
But you got that. You're afraid of that, and then it takes Chainsaw Massacre. It makes you afraid to go up to some strange, weird-looking house to get help. And Halloween, it makes you afraid to be a teenager and plan anything, you know, without, you know, at least a fucking gun by your side, you know, if you're afraid some boogeyman's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
makes you afraid to go to a camp. You know, it's like all these films. You're afraid to do anything by the time you check them out. That's
I know, right? It's like I'm just staying home and I'm never going anywhere. And all these crazy possibilities.
Home, the strangers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly. You're not even safe at home because you got those fuckers who come. That's funny.
That first one was effective, man. That's one I'd like to do one of these days. I'd like to check it out.
That is a good movie.
And you was talking about the cars being parked everywhere. You know, for years I did not notice. You know, when he's standing behind the bush. That's another thing I wanted to point out. When he's standing behind the bush there, he allows Lori to see him, but not Annie. That's after he had switched his attentions to Annie then.
Yeah.
So he wanted her to see him, but not Annie, because he didn't want Annie to freak out. Because if he'd have freaked out Annie, he wouldn't have been able to stalk her as well.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And because it is only Lori who sees Michael.
Yeah, and then she just thinks she's crazy. Like she walks right up to it. Now, what crazy ass says, "Oh yeah, somebody's watching play." Well, a creep.
And why not? It's just that's her. No one's fucking with Annie. Like that's just her great personality. That like she'll walk right up to crazy guy in the mask and be like, "The fuck's wrong with you? Like, get out of here."
Are you following us? Oh yeah, you think that shit's funny? I did not tell you before. It's like, damn. It's like
exactly.
I'm sorry.
She's got fire.
She does too, and I think that's part of what he likes too, man. He likes that makes her number one to take care of on his list.
Yeah,
it
literally is his number one.
Yeah, but you know, but I don't feel that she was the all around intended.
I meant it's his first kill. It's the first one he kills.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think it was his target. Lori. It was always Lori.
A lot of people believe it was Annie now, and that.
I remember. Yeah, I saw a few theory videos years ago on YouTube about that. Like a few videos that dive into the why it was Annie the whole time and stuff. I don't remember much details about it. A few things that you've been bringing up were triggering my memory, but I thought it's interesting, but I always thought of Lori. It's always been Lori that ever since she goes to drop the keys off at the Myers house, and he sees her. What?
He knew she was right across the street. He just wanted to stop and take care of her first, and then, like I said, he wasn't expecting Bob and Linda. But he knew she was right across the street, and when you're after something like that and you really want to savor a night full of killing, what are you going to do? You're going to save your favorite one, the best one, the one you've really been after for last.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's something we've seen a million times after this movie in slasher films and mostly slasher movies, but a whole bunch of things. Killer always saves the one who is most important to them for last. Like whether it's Yep.
Of his sister mainly. He wanted to relive that.
Yeah.
He loved that so much. 15 years, that's what he thought about, was getting out and reliving that shit. Yep. Now, do you believe that there's a person in there at all, or do you think he's pure boogeyman by this time?
I think he's probably just pure boogeyman.
I think he was. See, because that's the only problem we have with the boogeyman thing is he was born a kid. Supposedly he was somewhat right up to a point. So what did you just become boogeyman? Had he always been boogeyman?
Yeah, like what made him like super strength and not being able to die and everything. Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like it's a very hard question to answer, like going just in the context of this movie, because I mean, obviously we know in the sequels they try to explain it and none of it makes sense, and it's the cult of Thorn and all that stupidity. But like in just this movie itself, like, is he a real man? I mean, we know he's a kid. We saw him as a kid. He was born to human parents. So, I mean, I guess he's just an evil fucking guy.
So was Damien. You know what I mean? Damien Thorne was born to,
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, he was born from a jackal. But anyway, we'll just forget about that.
But yeah, it's like, it's just, I guess he was just born evil. He's born as an evil psychopath. Why he's able to get shot a bunch of times and like just walk away, I don't know. That's just because it's movie, I guess, and because it's scary. And it works. It works though.
Why can't you kill him? Where did he go?
Yeah,
because that's a big question people ask when he gets shot and falls off the balcony. Where did he go?
Yeah,
wherever the fucking boogeyman goes. You know what I mean? He just he's no longer there. He's there, and then he's not there for a reason. You know what I mean? It does require an explanation because there is no explanation.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. And it's better for that. It's I love the mystery.
Yeah. It would have been even better maybe if when they started the movie, like he was just a kid from out of nowhere. No one knew who this fucking kid was. And he just sees this girl alone with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend leaves and he goes up and kills her. Maybe that would have been even more mysterious.
Because then you don't have. Then you could say that, like, all right, well, maybe, like, where did this kid come from? Like, he doesn't have. We don't see parents or anything like that.
Do you know how dramatic Loomis would have been if that would have happened?
Yeah, I know, right?
It comes from Loomis. I don't know. He's just a boy that showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He just showed up one night under the moonlight. Like, we don't know where it came from.
Where's his parents? Who says he had parents?
Yeah.
Pure evil does not have parents. You know, I mean, that would have been kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, right. That's a nice little. Maybe that's like one of like the 8th reboot or something. Like 20 years from now, they'll do that. They'll make a little child Michael without parents, without an origin, and then they'll explain it away that way.
He didn't have a name. He's just a fucking shape at that point. He's just a boogeyman. Now that would truly be a boogeyman. He came from nowhere at 6 years old and started stabbing motherfuckers. They put him away. He never says a word, therefore they know nothing. And then he escapes.
Yep.
And that would give Loomis so much more monologue.
Oh yeah, and especially because he'd have no identity. He'd have no name. He'd have no nothing. Like,
Loomis would have moved into the hospital at that point.
He would have been committed to the hospital probably from going nuts trying to figure it out.
He had a room right next to him.
Yeah.
Been over there bothering him every day. Where'd you come from? You are evil.
Yeah. Like, I'll give you my dosage of this medication if you just tell me a little bit. Just tell me a little more. That's funny.
That'd be great. It wouldn't surprise me. They've done everything else. So have you seen like the comics, the Nightfall comics and shit like that? They've explained everything with him. Like in one Carpenters, in Carpenters Part 4, he was gonna grow like 30 feet tall or some shit.
Really?
For real. He was going to grow up like 30 feet tall or something like that toward the end of the fucking movie. Check out some of the shit on there and you can see old scripts and stuff. There's been like 4 different versions of what Halloween 4 was going to be.
Yeah,
it makes you glad we got the Halloween 4 that we did get, actually.
Yeah, by the sounds of that, yeah, I'm definitely glad. we got the Halloween before we did.
Except for the mask, man. If they would have used this mask, like masks like this for Halloween 4, it would have been damn good, man.
The only thing is the pink mask in Halloween.
That mask is so happy, man.
Just
I've never seen Michael Myers so happy to see you. He's like, "Hey, what's up?"
I know, and that's what I mean. Like with the it's something like with the cheek with the masks, like throughout the whole series, and just doesn't match the original.
Yeah,
I don't know how hard it is to find. Yeah, the hair is different. Like I just don't know how hard it is to find a William Shatner mask and paint it fucking white. Like
they decided it didn't matter as long as
it can't be that hard,
like that. And they were wrong.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, because it definitely matters.
Every time they use it,
I mean, look at the CG. Look at the CGI mask in H2O. How abysmal that is. Oh,
he looks like a punk.
The mask in H.
In that in Resurrection, he's got eyebrows. He looks like a punk ass. Like he's coming at you like.
Yeah, I know. It's so stupid.
Some
of the, I don't know what they were thinking with some of these masks, but I mean, H2O CGI one is hilariously bad.
Yeah, he's like
why CGI a mask? Like CGI is there for like shit that like you can't pull off like in reality. You can very much put a mask on somebody's face. So I don't get why they did that at all.
Yeah, the original, they paid $2 for a William Shatner mask, alternate.
Yeah.
And for years, Shatner didn't even know it was a mask of him for 25 years. And then he
I know. He didn't find out until decades later. That's funny.
Because he'd have been suing their ass. Because you know how Shatner is, man. He's got
absolutely.
They had to sue him money, or he would have been.
Oh, he would have been suing the hell out of him as soon as he found out.
Now, when we talk about the car, when he steps out from the bush and shit, man, for years I did not notice. That's what I was going to talk about when I talked about, Annie not seeing him. Is you can see the car parked off over here, and it shows that several times. And just like when they go to babysit, and they're getting stoned in the car and shit, and pulls up about half a block and parks. Yet later on, when Loomis finally sees it, it's parked back closer to his house. Back to the Myers house. It's like, so he left during that time sometime, and he must have seen Loomis stand, because Loomis was standing right there. He must have seen Loomis in park.
Yeah, and he's
that way he wouldn't know what.
And move the car.
Yeah, I'll just park up here.
Because we assume and we know that he saw Loomis, so he would want to throw him off because he knows that Loomis is going to try to stop him. So maybe he figured I'll buy myself some time and move the car so that way he doesn't know which house I'm at, and he can waste time trying to check some of the other houses out.
Yeah, because
he wants to have his time to be able to. Yeah, he wants to be able to have his time to kill Laurie. Like that's his main one.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about that that whole thing. Just get the elephant out of the room, out of the way with the whole Bob thing about ripping Lindsay's clothes off, and just explain to younger people that this was 1978. It was thrown in as a joke, and I know it hasn't aged well, but Bob. I don't know Bob or the character. From a character standpoint, I'm assuming he's not a weirdo. Assuming he's satisfied with Linda and whatever else he can stroke on her or whatever. But
he's just making a joke, but it's just hilariously aged terribly.
So many people talk about it though.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a hard line to like hear and then not comment on. So it makes sense that a lot of people let most people talk about it.
I did love Jason talking about Brackett though. When she bumps into him, she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." You go, "Hi, Lori," and then she walks by. He's like, in the book, he makes a comment like, "Man, I just to be 17 again," or something like that. You got?
Does he?
He makes a comment. Man, I was 17.
That's interesting.
It's written by Curtis Richards. Check it out. It's got a lot of good
stuff. I'm definitely gonna look for it online. Because I definitely, I don't know why all these years I haven't read the novelization for Halloween.
Yeah, that's crazy. I figured you had, man. It's pretty good. The But the first chapter or so, before it starts in with the actual movie part, the movie part's almost, it goes straight by the movie, except for it gets where Michael's thinking, different stuff like that too, which is interesting, but it doesn't overdo it. Now, but the first chapter is about Salmon and like the Celtic rituals and shit like that. It talks about. So it sort of gives an explanation of where this unkillable spirit could have came from. This unkillable boogeyman could have came from that he's infected by.
That's interesting.
So, but it doesn't give you too much either, like the sequels.
It's not like the whole Cult of Thorn shit.
Right. It gives an explanation of why he's a boogeyman and why he doesn't die.
Okay.
But it doesn't overdo it. I haven't read it in years, but I read that when I was like 9, 10 years old. Like I said, I still have it. You can't buy it. It's like $300.
I feel like I feel like I used to own it and just never read it. And then I don't know what the hell happened to it, because I remember the cover and stuff. Like it's just like the cover of the movie, right?
Yeah, it has that, and then there's also another cover where he's standing there in his hospital sheet with a knife, and he's got the head of an illuminated jack-o'-lantern.
I'm thinking. I remember the cover of that's just like the movie. That has the jack-o'-lantern with the knife. That looks familiar, but I didn't have that. I'm pretty sure I had the one with the movie picture as the cover.
It's in bad shape. It's falling apart. Like I lost the cover, but the cover was just like that.
Yeah. Well, at least you still have it.
I ordered, like I said, I ordered that one that not 50th anniversary, but 45th anniversary, I do believe it is. Yeah, 45th anniversary of it. It was like $50. You can't order it anymore. Yeah. I'm sure eBay would have it, but fuck them. Is there anything you want to cover? Anything we haven't talked about? I mean, we talked about some shit in watch along, but.
Yeah, I feel like we between this and the watch along, this has been great, and I think that we went pretty balls deep into fucking Halloween.
One thing I do want to talk about, one last thing there, is the chase.
Oh yes,
the final chase when she comes in there and she's this deathly stop being funny, you know what I mean? And she goes, I'll kill you. This joke, I'll kill you. She goes up there and finds him, and he has Annie there with Judas Tombstone, and how he set up the body where she bumped here, Bob would swing out, she bumped here. He had this the door just right to where Linda would show. And
Linda's corpse, like I said, looks so fucking, the way her neck is twisted, Linda, that looks so good. Like it looks so eerie.
Yeah, and then she falls over, breaks her shit. And I swear to God, when she left, she had the keys in her hand. Even as she was entering the house, she had the keys in her hand. So I think she was maybe going to use, she still was worried. I think she had them in her hand, didn't put them in her pocket because she was planning on using them as a weapon. But when he missed and stabbed her arm, she fell over, she dropped them. That's why when she gets back now, she doesn't have keys. Now, the only kitchen I've ever seen in my entire life that has an actual door that shuts and locks. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a door in the kitchen? Like a regular door, man.
Yeah, I know, that's weird.
About a year ago, I watched it.
That is weird.
There's a fucking door in that kitchen, right? And I noticed that shit. They had to.
That is weird. That he starts breaking through.
Nobody puts a door on the kitchen. But yeah.
That is strange. I've never thought of that.
Yeah. A door on the
I've never thought of it.
They're trying to keep somebody in the house is too fat, and they're trying to keep them the fuck out or something. Door.
Yeah, right.
Joey,
like, nope, sorry. No more donuts for you.
Joey,
no more.
We can't keep them out, honey.
Snacks.
On the cabinet. We'll just put a fucking deadlock on the fucking door.
That's funny. Yeah, I've never thought of that. That's hilarious.
I bet Michael's thinking the same thing. He's like, who the fuck puts a fucking door in the goddamn kitchen when he's trying to get in there?
That's probably why he's so pissed off. Breaking it down. Like, why is this even here?
How he reaches through.
Why do I even have to do this?
Rampant he is looking for that doorknob, man. He's like, God damn. and turns that shit. And he doesn't expect her to be crazy enough to use her hand to break the glass. She could have grabbed the toaster, maybe.
Yeah. And then like I said, I love the knife switching hands that Nick Castle did. That he takes the knife.
I'm not sure if
Carpenter in his left, he puts it in his right hand. I know. That's what I always wondered, if Nick Castle just did that on the fly, improvise that, or if it was directed. But I'm pretty sure I get the feeling that he did it.
Yeah, just
Castle, like in the moment. Because I love that detail. That's such a cool little detail of him just showing you real quick a shot of him switching hands with the knife again.
Actually, Jay, I feel like it probably happened like this. They knew the scene was coming up. He knew that since he was right-handed, he was going to have to beat the door like that.
Yeah,
he was going to have to hold the knife in his left hand. So he probably asked Carpenter, "Now, when I come in and I switch and go after her, I'm going to have to switch it back to my right hand because Michael's right-handed and I'm right-handed."
Yeah.
Something tells me they probably had that conversation. And he said,
"Yeah, they could have. Yeah, I mean, there's a big chance they did.
That's what I'm
whether they did or not, or he just thought of it like on the fly there, it's brilliant either way. Like, just such a great inclusion.
Knowing Carpenter, I would say he probably thought of that too. You punch it through with your right hand, and Michael, you can't push through it with a knife in your hand. So after you get back in, you pull your hand out and start heading.
Then you're gonna have to switch back to his predominant hand. Yeah.
But you notice when he first punches through, he opens up the door with his hand still through it, and he sits there and looks at her for a second. He goes,
"Yep." I love that shot too.
He just said for just a split second, he stands there and looks at her like, "Hello." That's right, bitch. Me. You see me earlier.
There's no goddamn door on a kitchen stopping me from getting through.
And now I got you. God damn it.
Yeah,
she broke the glass with her fucking hand. Now when she gets out of there and screaming. I remember years back people talking about he could have already killed her. Why hasn't he come out yet? Now, from a character standpoint, the way I'm thinking about it is, damn well, like I said, damn well he had to stop and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. No, it makes sense that he.
It's so dark back there. He stood there and watched because he heard her screaming. He was like, "Shit, I'm sure she's gonna get attention." Goes up and knocks at doors. Now, guys, I know it's a script, and I know that's the way it was supposed to be. I'm thinking from a character standpoint, if these characters were real.
Yeah.
Okay, so that way people don't think I'm insane. Okay, she's running up to houses and she's screaming and knocking, and nobody will help. And then once she starts heading back to the Wallace house, that's when he comes out.
Yeah, and it makes sense when we were talking about it because he would want to make sure that it's safe for him to be able to still chase and get her.
As low profile as possible.
Yeah, he does that. Because she immediately goes to the house next door, and if they would open the door, he's not going to be walking, in view and stuff where people could see him. So it makes sense for sure.
Let's kill her right now. He don't want to add a couple more bodies right yet. He's after her like this. If they see him, there's a couple more bodies going to have to be done.
And then there's a big chance that he's not going to be able to get her because the police get called. And there's a guy on the loose, so he that makes a lot of sense that he would want to just stay in the shadows and wait to see if anyone came to that door to help her before saying, "Okay, all right, no, now she's running back to the house. Good, I got her." And that's, to me, like I said, it's the most tense scene ever in a movie. Like chasing all the way until she gets back in the house, slams the door, and the music just cuts like that. All of that whole chase sequence is just, it's just perfection in every way, like in a film.
Once they show off that porch light, and she goes, "Don't you hear me?"
The way she screams that too is just like chilling. The way she delivers those lines. Yep.
She even uses her hands when she does it. Please, you know what I mean?
It's bone chilling. Like it gives me goosebumps that scene every single time. Her screams, her screams are just so fucking genuine and like scary. Like
that's when I love Jamie. Like, man, God, like I said, I wrote that fucking thing to her because I was just, you feel her in that. You're terrified.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Over there, realize she don't have the keys, and she's yelling at Tommy, the keys. She's yelling at Tommy, and then you see him, and then he seems like he's far away, but then the next thing he's here, and then he's here, and he's walking.
And it's just closer and closer, and it's just so good. It's so excellently executed.
It's seeing that as a young kid back before all these other films came out and everything, and all these millions of other, horror movies that copied it and everything came out.
Yeah.
That can't match the intensity of that particular scene.
No, yeah, not at all.
Right there is just crazy, man. It is just, and it's no matter how many times you see it, you know the dialogue by heart.
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen. You know exactly. You know she's going to get in that house just fine and stuff, but it's still terrifying and puts you on edge every single time you watch it. Like if they my hair's on my neck stand up, like watching and hearing her scream like, "The Tommy, please!" And just like with the music and everything, it's just it's perfection.
Yeah, it is absolutely excellent, man. Like I said, my story that I wrote starts when she sends. Let me see. No, my story begins. The one that I wrote. My story begins after she stabs him in the neck with a needle, and she goes up there, and when she's already up the stairs, and she lets the kids, when the kids run to her, and and Tommy's like, "Well, what about the boogeyman?" And she's like, "I killed it," and he says, "You can't kill the boogeyman." And
then the shot of him up on the stairs that's another best shot ever.
Well, like you can see behind her, you can see the shadow of him coming up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, "You can't kill the boogeyman." And both kids over each shoulder, Kyle Richards is Lindsay, and then of course Ryan Andrews is Tommy. Both of them look over each shoulder and go, "Ah!" And he's standing there. That's when my story starts.
It's so great. That's such a great shot too, with him at the top of the stairs. Like after they say that, and they notice him, and then you just see him there. The lighting on him, all of that looks fantastic.
Sends him back into the bathroom, because she doesn't know it, but he don't give one shit about them. She runs in the other room, even tries to trick him by opening up the doors, but he knows how she is.
Exactly.
She's not going to run off and leave the kids. Plus, she made a little bit of noise getting into the closet, which you can just grab and take that whole fucking thing off. They have things that click down and you can take off.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead, he shakes it and terrorizes.
Yeah, because he loves fucking with it. He loves fucking with it. It's like when predators and stuff. They love fucking with their prey, like before they eat them. Same thing. Like same thing with him.
Good point. Yeah, you do kind of put him in that predator category, because he felt at that point she was in a corner. There's nothing she was going to do. He underestimated her. I don't know her. I don't know what you'd call it. She's very knowledgeable. She's very resourceful, and very courageous. She stabs him twice.
Like her ingenuity to think to grab the hanger and poke him in the eye. Yeah,
survival, man, and that's realistic, because if you're in a closet full of wire hangers and someone's coming after you, that's the only thing you got to grab. You're going to try to use it. And where do you go?
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter how badass you are, someone pokes you in the fucking eye and you're going to react.
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, it's your fucking eye. And if Fulci has taught us anything, is that eyes are not to be fucked with in any way, because that is painful. And that's why I said that's why I said during the watch along that I've heard that Michael, his real face is deformed like Jason, and it's not. It's just his eye's big when the mask is taken off, because he gets stabbed in the fucking eye. Of course, his eye's going to be swollen and shit. Like, but he's not deformed. Like, we see him as a kid. He's perfectly normal looking kid. So I never understood people who say that Michael's like deformed just like Jason. No, he's not. He's in pain. Injury. Yeah, exactly. Like that shit will maybe like stop swelling as much. Like, like his face will go back to normal a little bit.
Yeah, that was smart as fucker. And then the knife, people talk a lot about how she keeps throwing the knife away all the time. Well, hey, at least in that moment when he dropped the knife, she used that shit. Caught him somewhere around here. She has something. I'm not sure exactly where.
I know it's not. It's fast, and you don't see exactly where she stabs him.
And she keeps throwing away the knife because, goddamn, 2 or 3 of these wounds should have been the end. That knitting needle went in so far that he literally had to grab it and go,
Oh yeah, like, and he just keeps on coming.
And then we come to our favorite scene of the whole film, It's one of my top 2, 3, but probably my favorite. It's the one that got me. It's the one I always do. When I think of Halloween, the first thing I think of is him sitting up and going.
Yep, me too.
And then the music kicking in.
Just the greatest shot in a film for me is that. It's just him. I'll never forget seeing that for the first time, and then seeing him sit up, and then just like my mind was blown. It's like, yo, this guy just can't die. And just the way that it's shot, the way he just sits up and turns, just slightly turns, and then they put him in focus and take Laurie out of focus. Like all of that is.
Because I am agoraphobe and you are not.